Recording start. Hi everyone, this is Let's Discuss the Paper Soon After Reading It. And in this journal club, we selected and started to read a selected paper and started reading it just 2 hours ago. And then from now on, we are going to discuss the paper. Today, we have two participants. I'm Ryoichi. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Ryoichi Watanabe, a PhD student at Kyoto University.
Thank you, Ryoichi. And me, Yota Kawashima, a research assistant at ATL and Monash University. Okay, today we are going to read a paper titled Organizing Conceptual Knowledge in Humans with a Grid-like Code. And the authors are Alexandra Konstantinescu and Jill O'Reilly and Timothy Behrens, published in 2016 from Science. So before starting the discussion, first I will give you a quick summary of this paper. Okay. Okay, so in neuroscience, it's kind of assumed that or widely assumed that the brain, the brain organized the concept in a mental map, in a sense, like some people might call it the conceptual space or something. So we have an imaginary kind of geometry or dimension, and then we plot, the one concept in that, dimension or geometry. But it's still unclear, how can this mapping be done in the brain? So the authors of this paper hypothesized that, this organization can be done in a similar manner as a grid cell-like hexagonal coding. And this is just basically because that, in physical world or as an animals living in a 3D physical world, we have a kind of GPS function by ourselves in the brain in nature, and then we use that function to locate ourselves in a space. So maybe that function can be, or the mechanism for that can be applicable or generalizable to the imaginary mental map or conceptual map. So that's the hypothesis, and that these authors try to test in this paper with humans and fMRI. And this is basically, or this hypothesis is basically based on the previous papers by other researchers. Doyle et al. 2010 Nature, where they investigated whether humans or what kind of fMRI activity can be, or how we can detect the grid cell-like activity in fMRI studies. And that's what this Nature Nature paper did. And then these authors of these papers, the science papers, just use the same concept, but apply this concept to their ideas, like testing the mechanism of navigation in conceptual space, mental map. Okay, so in this study, the authors are focused on bird as a concept, and then also focused on two features of bird. The first is length of neck, and the other is again the length of legs. So in this case, the mental map or conceptual map geometry will be like a two-dimension. One axis will be the length of neck, and the other is the length of leg. So we have two dimensions. And then by changing the length or the ratio of neck and leg, we can, plot each stimuli within that space. So maybe one stimuli will be located in one point in the space, and then by changing that ratio, we can move that point from one to the other. So this, mapping or the navigation from one point to another is kind of similar in the physical world navigations. So this can be, this can be implemented as like a grid cell like, coding, hexagonal codings. That's what these authors try to test in this paper. So the task or the experiment consists three components. The first, training component, where the participant just check could change the ratio of neck and just passively see the stimuli of birds. So this is kind of similar as or like walking around in a physical space, because by changing the ratio of neck and legs, that you can locate the concept of bird in one position to another, and then this is again the similar to walking around in a physical space. And then after that, they do the the authors set the learning session, where participants were asked to associate the ratio, the specific, lengths of legs and neck of birds with symbols, particular symbols. And then this association is confirmed during the learning test, and then it seems like the participant could, associate with a performance of roughly 70%. And then finally, in the testing sessions, where the authors record the fMRI activity of the participants, and the first, the experimenter showed the video of birds changing the leg while changing the ratio of neck and leg. And then participant asked participant to imagine if the participant continued to change the or the bird continues to change the ratio and the morph with the same neck and leg ratio. And then in some trials, the experimenter asked the participant to choose one outcome, so symbols. Then again, this performance of this, outcome selection is roughly around 70% accuracy. And then what they found, the authors found, is that they found the, grid cell-like hexagonal coding in ventral medial prefrontal cortex and also entorhinal cortex sometimes, which are the brain regions found in the previous paper, again the Nature paper 2010, which investigated the spatial physical space navigation, and also these regions are known for constitute of default mode network, which will be necessary for generalization of concept. So this kind of support the author's claim that, in order to generalize concepts, we need a map, mental map, conceptual map, and then, acquiring new concepts within the map can be, kind of implemented, or the underlying mechanism for that might be the, grid cell-like hexagonal codings. And that's my summary. Yes, so Ryoichi, do you want to add anything?
Okay, so I agree with your summary, but Now I'm wondering why the authors used the relations or learned relations between the length bars modulation and the Christmas characters.
So are you asking why Christmas symbols, or why
Yes, yes, yeah.
need why do we need the association task?
Yes, yes, association.
I think this is to confirm that participant acquires that knowledge or concept. I think.
I
I
see. So concept means the association
mm,
between the bar's information and the like the Christmas character as a label or something. Conceptual
um maybe
label or character.
okay, maybe the term concept might be inappropriate here. So
Yeah.
kind of learn stimulus property, and then just associate that with the symbols. And my understanding is that if the participant acquires that ability or learned the stimulus property, this means basically that they have a new mental map, or they establish mental map. And then if so, then they should be able to perform the task using that map.
I see. So okay, so like in the figure 1B, they also use the Christmas characters was put it on the x and axis, the figure graph, right? So, I see. So yes, I see. So the participants recognized that these are Christmas character as like the how to say. So they also measured the brain activity when participant recognize or made a mental image for this Christmas character.
I don't know. So my understanding is that, again, maybe it's better to come back to the physical space, not the conceptual space, right? And then in the physical space, let's say if we are in somewhere, or if we are now seeing a map, right? And then you are walking around in a town, and then of course we use a grid cells, and then in the town you will see some traffic sign, and then if you can locate yourself somewhere, then you should be able to remember where the traffic sign is, for example. So but if you do not have any spatial physical spatial map, then you will not be able to associate that traffic sign and the location. So that is the the first the underlying, or the motivation of given this in mind, if we come back again to this conceptual space, first we have the map, or the mental map for birds, and then we can if we have this kind of map, then we should be able to associate where the location, associate the location of the map, and also if we can, have some, again, something like traffic sign. In this case, that is the Christmas symbol. Then we should be able to, associate the location within the conceptual space and the Christmas symbols.
It's like the landmark or something.
Yes, something like that.
I see. Yes. I understand that what the authors are did in this study, but a little bit confused for me that yes, this brain activity, so this activity showed this Christmas characters or concept or the two-dimensional information of the birds or these characters location on the cognitive mind map. But I understand the conclusion or the result of this study.
Yeah, so I think the reason why the authors need this symbol is that, or what they want to, test is again whether the participant could make this, the conceptual map of bird, but we are not sure without, testing that or without having any behavioral, response from the participant. So they just, need these symbols to test whether the participant have a, enough performance or sufficient, not enough, but could perform this kind of task. So this symbol is not that important, I think, for this study.
Yeah, I see.
So yeah, again, the importance or the main, goal of this paper is to investigate whether the same mechanisms as the grid cell, like a physical, space coding, can be, applicable to this, conceptual space.
Yes. That point I agree.
Yeah, but in a sense, during my, summary, I implied, but, the it's I think it's better to read the 2010 Nature paper from Doyle to understand the reasonings behind this. To be honest, I could not understand why the way how the authors analyze this fMRI and do the modeling support the idea of grid cell like recordings. So yeah, but having said that, again, this paper is really interesting, and then if we can try the same mechanism for conceptual map as the physical spatial map, then I don't know why hexagonal is important, but there might be some reasons. Yeah, grid cells. So yeah, another thing is that if we are thinking about the grid cell, it's all about, I think, 2D location, not the 3D, right? But usually, one concept seems to have multi-dimension or more than 2 dimensions. Even this a birds, they only focus on the length of legs and neck, but of course we can include or add another, components. For example, I don't know, the, lengths of, feather or the body or something like that. Yeah, let's say, the body, the length, the width of the body or something like that. And then in that case, we need to think about the 3D, dimensions for this bird. Then in that case, how can we apply, this grid cell like, coding in 3D? Maybe we can, just extend the, hexagonal patterns into 3Ds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And also, this is again only about the, bird, just focusing on bird. But let's say we think about the concept of animals, and then I don't know what the each, axis will be, but maybe we can plot, bird someplace, some location, and then bear some location, and then tigers or yeah. And if that we do something like that, then can we still see, this grid cell like, codings or not? Yeah, I don't know whether or how we can do that. And how, this grid cell like, coding can be, yeah, extended to others.
I see.
Or maybe we can do something similar to color. If we think about RGB, then we still have see, this hexagonal pattern.
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. So yeah. I just, yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, but according to their results, it seems like it's obvious that, for this case, there seems to be, hexagonal, codings. Because, they tried, other, possibilities like a 4-fold or 5, 7, 8, and then found that, their, discoveries are consistent only for, hexagonal 6-fold. In addition, like I did not mention during the summary, but, they did, several sessions. The first session, and then within the same day, another sessions. And also after 1 week or more, they did the same, experiment with the same participant. So, and then they found a consistency across different sessions. So their findings seem solid. So yeah, I'm just curious whether this concept can be applicable for other multidimensional, space.
Yeah, I see. So, and I think like the birds or bat have the like a three-dimensional self, right? So normally the our they can fly. So x-axis and y-axis and z-axis and height and like something. So so multi-dimension. So they can have, they may have the not only the like the world mapping, but also the mental mapping, like 3-dimensional or more.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. I mean, like as a human, we can still have a distance information because of, binocular disparity. So I will, yeah, 3D can be possible, but I am not sure whether we can do that for like a 4D space.
Yeah,
No.
I see. And so, from now we discuss not only this paper. Me, okay. So now we are discussing about this paper, the contents, or like let's discuss.
I mean, if you want to, mention other papers, then you can do that.
No. So we continuously we continue to talk from this. You said, do you want to add, or do you want to some question about this paper? And I discussed.
Okay.
So it started to discuss. So section change or say.
I mean, yeah, we kind of, jump into the discussion from your question.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
If you have any other questions, you can just ask whatever you want. But
oh no, sorry, disrupted.
Okay, no questions. Then yeah, we can just continue discussion or yeah. But basically, that's all my comments on these papers. I mean, yeah, this paper is really interesting. And it seems sorry, but whether we can, say the same for more complex concept or something. That's my, comments.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering that the 3D have the same unit, right? So like the long distance, right? And unit is like the meter or something, mile or meter. But four dimension means the all 4 dimension have same unit. Normally when we talk about the 4 dimension, it's like the 3 dimension and time, right? Or something. So the unit is different, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to add some, unit for each dimension, you can do that. But I mean, in this case, we don't need to, be worried about that. I mean, distance is just distance, and we can mathematically, define the distance. Even in like a 4D, 5D, even more. So yeah, the computation of distance is not a problem for me. Yeah, the reason why I mentioned the distance is just because, this paper is only talking about the 2 dimension.
Yeah.
But what happens if we extend or add one other dimensions?
Yes. I agree. But if our multidimensional recognition is based on these grid cell or something, like the dimensional distance dimensions information, we can imagine the 3-dimensional information on the world, or based on this grid cell or place cell or something. So we can apply this studies 2-dimension to 3-dimension, like the x-axis and y-axis, and like the height information in z-axis. We can add, but how to apply by 4-dimension or multi-dimension?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
Yeah, as you said that we are living in 3D world. So maybe, having 3D, hexagonal coding possible, maybe. But 4D, 5D, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, if you are thinking about the concept, more complex concepts, it's multi-dimensional, more than 3, of course. Yeah, and then even this example of bird, you know, we can add another, you know, dimensions, you know, just, you know, many dimensions.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering whether still, can we still see the same, you know, results or not?
Yeah. And also, why? Yeah. As you said, why the 6 hexagonal discrimination is not fitted our why we have the hexagonal or 6-dimensional one. And so 60 degree is more how to say, more recognizable or perceptible for animal or something.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, not, you know, 6, just it's a pattern, you know, hexagonal pattern, the location of, you know, activation, kind of receptive field kind of thing.
And
maybe, you know, it's optimal for some reasons. Number 6 is optimal, maybe, but I think it's something what, you know, mathematicians or, you know, these people can, you know, prove or something. Or maybe we can use some, you know, deep learning or machine, you know, learning techniques that if we want to encode, you know, some spatial information, then we should always have, you know, this 6 hexagonal, you know, patterns. But yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
I see. So what, I don't know about the 60 degree or something, like easily to, how to say, convey the information or process in the brain. Or
yeah, maybe it's kind of requirement from the perspective of, you know, information processing of the or the system requirement or something. I think. But I don't know. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
And so can I continue to talk? Yeah, and I also, I'm so interested point is that the normally the greater cell or place cell in the this is important the self position, right? Compared to the world. So I am the central point, and then the degree or x-axis and y-axis is determined, right? But these like the abstract or mental mapping, or these like the right bars or legs and the next legs is different from our information, right? Self information. So the self point or center point is different or nothing in when we think these mental map, like the, how to say, abstract mental mapping. So it is difficult for the other animal of human, or human can do this mental mapping in which we are not in the center?
I am not sure whether even in the spatial, physical space,
Mm,
you know, mm, the location of you yourself is important or no.
mm,
And this is because, of course, we use a lot of first person perspective informations like head direction or whatever, but by having this coding mechanism, we can locate you yourself within a map. So first we have this spatial map, and then we can locate you yourself in the map. But what you said is that first we are somewhere, and then from here we kind of extend the space or have the map.
I think.
I don't know. This is just because I'm not familiar with the underlying mechanism of grid coding on the physical space encodings. I don't. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Whether the first person perspective versus the third person perspective. Yeah.
I see. So so I can understand the grid cell is like the x-axis and y-axis, but in these studies, in these researches, are setting that the y-axis is bird's length and x-axis is bird's neck, right? But where is the central point for x0 and y0?
X0, Y0 is just no leg, no neck. I'm not sure whether they have that kind of stimulus. But again, the x-y axis length. So if we think about 0, then just no leg, no and also maybe we have infinite length. But thinking about that is just meaningless, I would say.
I see. Yeah. For me, this is interesting point, and why I'm wondering why this happened or what's the relationship between them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, I think we've already talked about roughly for about 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, we can finish here.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah, then see you. Bye-bye next week.
See you.